I'm Frank Bruno. I'm a low-key big hog from the little estate, Rhode Island.
Mandik here, low-key big hog, Scottsdale by way of Chicago IL.
Make him tremble from head to toe.
Hey, this is Brett the Hitman Hart, and I got a very special shout out going out to my longtime fan and friend, Frank Bruno.
Random!
Hi, Carl. This is Danielle Monet, aka WWE Diva Summer Rae.
Objection! Back to class!
Okay. All right. Oral Roberts in. Moorhead State in. Damn it. My phallic fork is not complete. We'll get into that in just a second.
Phallic four. Oh my
You'll
God.
learn about it. It's a very. It's not what you think. We got to get all of these. We always get lumped into this wrestling category that our minds are in the gutter. You'll find out it has nothing to do with anything phallic or flaccid. We probably lost our guest already. Well, come on into my ChatPack Live. Did my voice crack right there?
A little bit, yeah.
You bring
a little bit.
I'm Carl Mandik, and this is public access. It's Carl X Mandik, and it is the only man. Oh, I had a good one for you. Oh, that's right. I'm going to change it up this week. I think you got to go by Mr. Monday Night.
Me?
You got to go. Yeah, we got to get like a Frank effing Bruno shirt.
It could be F-A-B.
Oh, F-A-B-U-L-O. And then you get Carmel straight.
Well, those are my initials. I'm Frank Anthony Bruno III. So F-A-B. So I just
check. Wait, hold on. Let me just check. Ref, check him.
And I'm like, okay.
Kyoto's in on that one, so that's good news. I mean, because you don't want Kyoto's got to give you the okay for if you're going with FAB, if you're going with Mella.
I got to put somebody over to start the show real quick. We could do that. I didn't tell you about this, Carl. So
let's hit this one right off the top. I know I'm stoked for it. I love surprises. And our guest coming up, Denovius Mack. Very excited for that one.
I'm very excited too.
But
so I was on a Zoom call last week, and we were talking to Adam from Bama, and he's a great guy, and we were talking about he wants to go to Jacksonville, but he needed to sell a few things, and also on that call was Henry Evingham, our boy that we bust his balls, but we always were like map it. But so we were talking about some of Adam's championship belts that he wanted to sell to fund the Jacksonville trip, and I decided which one I wanted. I said which one I wanted, and I said, when I get my stimulus, I'll send you the money. Well, today, the belt that I wanted just showed up, and I have it in hand right here.
Get the hell out! What do you got? Oh my!
The Silver Intercontinental Championship.
Oh my goodness!
Do you know what Henry did?
No.
He bought this belt for me.
Look at this. The AFS community.
Right.
Don't doubt it.
This thing is legit. It is
Dude,
amazing. It is
solo shot. We're going solo on Francisco.
all right.
We're going right there.
This
That is
is
beautiful.
legit. I mean, I can't get enough of this thing, and it's because of Henry. So I just want that this is what the community does, and
That's
taken
really
back
cool.
by it. I just wanted to start it off that way and just let everybody know how much this community has come together and has meant to me. So I was just floored by it. The generosity of him is amazing to me.
I think that's one of the neatest things. You know, are there always, you know, to anybody, can there be bumps in the road in a friendship or in a life? Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Are there going to be pauses? Are there going to be just almost, you know, I don't want to downgrade it to say wrestling and friendships are similar because you're usually when you got a lifelong friend. But there's going to be ups, there's going to be downs. But like the highest of highs that we've already experienced in what, less than a year? Isn't AFS coming up on a birthday? Are we going to have a birthday? We got to have a effing birthday party, bro.
We do. We should. I think it's what, the 28th or the 31st or something like that.
It's something like that. I want to get, I need like, listen, I don't want to go like it's a cult or anything, but I want like a Heaven's Gate top guy, what number I am. That's what I actually want. Oh, already making cult jokes. Now, here's the thing. Why we're really here today is
we interrupt this program to bring you a special report.
It's Monday. It's 5 minutes in. You can't do that. Breaking news. Turn away now, wrestling fans. Shield your eyes. Avert your gaze. Bud Dupree is about to tighten up. How about it?
Oh, you know what? I gotta tweet this shit out to Paulie B.
Yep.
All right,
I would say you got a lot of Steelers fans. You got Nate Shork,
Eric Bischoff.
You got to get Megan there.
I was gonna say Megan. I'm gonna scream it out to the mountains. We got your best edge rusher. We got your best linebacker, and it makes me feel so much better to know that we lost Jonnu Smith to the Patriots. We lost Corey Davis to the Jets. This is what I knew going into this offseason, Carl.
And
we had the number one offense.
You called the Corey Davis one, and the only reason he's not in a different shade of green, I will share in just a second from a reliable source. Take it for what it's worth. But I digress.
I knew we had the number one offense or like top 3 offense last year, but one of the worst defenses, and you're not going to win a title that way. So I knew going into this offseason that we were going to get rid of high-priced players, hence the releases of Kenny Vaccaro and Malcolm Butler. And I knew we were going to have to do something.
You need Malcolm Butler. That's just get rid of
that. I'm just curious as to what they're going to do back there now. But we're going to have to give up some of our offensive weapons to get better on defense, and that's what happened today.
I will say a shutdown corner is, if you've got it, you know it. And I'll tell you why. You've got a guy, and I'm not trying to suck off the Packers, everybody, but just look at the NFC title game. Jair Alexander shut down Mike Evans for pretty much, or whoever he covered. Godwin, Antonio Brown, didn't matter. And Kevin King was left exposed. Yeah. I'm not saying that's why the Packers lost the game. I'm just saying it's a very polarizing position because it's getting to the point where can you get away with no PI? Can you get away with no, being that guy that there are certain names in the secondary like, oh God, I don't want to deal with Jalen Ramsey, or I don't want to deal with that guy. Not too many. Getting back to while we, kind of bring in sports a little bit, and the reason being I wanted to talk a little college hoops is I love March Madness. I love that the bracket is back. I watched Selection Sunday. Sorry, Rebel, I love you. Didn't make it, but I do have the best thing of the weekend still to share that I heard.
You missed Dustin Rhodes though.
Yeah, no, I miss like everybody, and believe me, I miss all the good ones. And then I even tweeted right before the Eric morning one, and I also slept through that until like 1 o'clock in the afternoon. But okay, so the ideal Final Four would be two teams that did make the tournament. That being Oral Roberts and Morehead State. I do have a question. I'm sure it's a person's name, but who in their right mind was like, yeah, this will hold up in 40 years, Morehead State?
Oral Roberts?
Well, Oral Roberts also a person's name, and like not much you can do about it. Like it's an old-timey name. But I love the bracket. And I love that there's a chance for a team to go undefeated for the first time since like the 70s when some team from, I don't know, Indiana won it. I hate the Hoosiers. Anyways, Gonzaga, Illinois is good. Hey, if people have to remember, please don't associate Illinois with Chicago. It's like 4 hours away. It's really far away. It is like in a different
other side of the state.
Yeah, it's not even like close. Northwestern, that's in there. But no, my ideal Final Four would be, and this could happen, would be Oral Roberts, Morehead State, Longwood University. Again, when the chancellor sat down for that one, they're like, yeah, this will hold in 40 years. No, it won't. It's not going to turn out well. And then, of course, my alma mater of Ball State. It's the Phallic Four.
I get it.
Welcome on into the Final Four here in San Antonio, Texas. I'm Jim Nance. Ball State taking on Longwood. Oral Roberts taking on Morehead State. Oh yeah, my mind was in the gutter for that, baby.
You gotta. I want to.
We do have a message,
and I know who this is now too.
Oh, do you?
Yes. We were trying to figure it out last time.
Now, do you want to go with something we got? Let's go with two things.
You know who that is?
Oh, you know what? I know that background.
Yeah.
Who has that background?
Let's just say he lives a little bit south of me. And I've met him before.
Coelho.
I did want to say real quick
you rascal Coelho.
The second installment of the Crockett interview is fucking phenomenal. Finished it yesterday, and the video at the end that Conrad did or Silva did, beautiful tribute. Something that stuck out, and I'm just gonna I tweeted this out, but something that Crockett said was, I don't miss the work, I miss the fun. Just kind of put it all into perspective. So if you haven't checked that out, get her. Oh, did I said south? I meant north. Yeah, sorry. Coelho came back and said north. I think I said that he was south of me.
That is horrible.
Oh, see,
Anthony
now,
Pirates hopping in. Anthony, we had Anthony.
Let's talk about this bitch. This bitch right here takes one of our best players in Jonnu Smith, right? You can't draft your own now. You gotta go and steal the Titans. But it's okay. When we come up there, we're gonna kick your damn ass. Okay.
Go Bats! The fantastic. They paid a lot for Nelson Aguilar. Holy Lord!
Yeah,
I sent you that. I was like, whoa. A little insider tidbit. Frank was actually right on the money. Green Bay was indeed going to go for Tennessee's Corey Davis.
I thought that.
But you'll find out soon why. Because let's just say the Packers have a reservation at the Hilton Hotel
There you go. Yeah.
You see what I did there? You see what I did? You see? You don't know about this. I hope you're excited for this. Now, WrestleMania season is approaching.
Yeah.
Now, my favorite thing to do, I love going back through a lot of the Something to Wrestles. I love going back through any of the, even just to fall asleep, like 8, 6, 4. It doesn't matter. Like it just some of the more classic, nostalgic, fuzzy feeling ones. But before that, it was announced that NXT is holding a 2-night event.
Yeah, I'm excited about that.
So I thought, and it's got a cool name. It's not TakeOver. It's like,
oh God, I can't remember what it's called now.
Blood and Guts. This summer.
Yeah,
It's something cool. No, it's like Honor and it sounds like an ROH pay-per-view. It sounds like an ROH. Yeah, find out what. So instead, I thought, wait a minute. This is crazy. Why don't we just do our own commentary instead of doing a watch along? For an, do you have the name? It's got like a cool logo.
Yeah, I'm trying to find it right now.
I always liked the different NXT logos because they were city specific when they went to anywhere for that takeover. I was big on the one for Phoenix.
Jordan Devlin's coming back to NXT. I'm excited.
About me, Jordan Devlin.
Hold on. Let me look at shows or events. Or
now,
instead
of having a takeover, we are having a 2-night talkover. Yes, that's Wednesday and Thursday when NXT are on. We're gonna get some more information out to you, but it's gonna be a really cool, kind of a different experience. We're gonna try something a little bit different on this one, and trust me. Also, to anybody from MCPL Mad Props, you will receive a DM or a text from me. Any winners from that today with all of the information that you need. So Eros, Santos, and Coach Rosie. But that, Frank, now did you go to Rebel and go to...
I was at everything. I was at everything this weekend.
Of course I wasn't.
Oh, there. I'm sorry. Stand and Deliver. Damn it.
Stand and Deliver.
There, Anthony right there. That's got to give that.
There we go. Stand and SAD. It's not going to be sad though. Stand. That's kind of a cool name. I'm with it. Whatever. It's not Great Balls of Fire. Denovius Mack joining us in just a little bit.
Let me ask you this real quick. Is it's not the same day as WrestleMania? It's the days before.
So they're doing it Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Hall of Fame, WrestleMania, Saturday, Sunday.
So, I mean, should we let the cat out of the bag here that we're going WrestleMania weekend? We're going to be in Indiana.
I have not produced a transition for it yet, but yes, we are headed. Myself, you. We know. We assume Mike Kolb. Well, no, Mike has to be there, and TJ are headed to Northwest Indiana for WrestleMania weekend. Which, I'm stoked about a 2-night event. I can care less who's on the card. But once again, another example of the AFS community coming together. And listen, there may or may not be a graphic floating around a group text that says Barrett for the belt. And maybe on Top Guy Theater, you'll learn a little bit more about that. By the way, huge shout out to Timmy C for his hosting abilities on Top Guy Theater and to Dan St. Germain for joining over the weekend. That was literally the only thing I did. I was going to go to Bischoff, slept till 1.
Carl, I've gotten text messages from you at like 5 a.m. my time. So I know that you are a night owl. So the fact that you slept makes me feel good. Makes me feel better that you actually got rested.
I got rested, and I also got some poetry in my ears. I realized something. Eric Bischoff is not on this planet. Anything he says, I'm just subscribing to from now on. Like, yes, this platform, streaming live across Twitter, Twitch, YouTube, and Facebook, the platform that doesn't dare to be better than, less than, we do dare to be different than, all of that comes from Eric. Everything you see here is ripped from Eric's entrepreneurial spirit. It's ripped from how he treated Nitro. And it, frankly, was how it, again, all started when Lauren called me. But then I heard this.
This is a perfect illustration of why I get hot over certain things that other people write about when we refer to it in this show, because none of that matters, folks. If you're a fan of the product today, don't pick it apart. Don't analyze it based on technical execution.
Right.
Just ask yourself how you feel.
There you go.
Do you enjoy watching it? Does it make you glad you took the time out of your night or day or whatever to sit down and watch it? Can you kind of forget about your job or forget about your personal challenges or forget about bad weather or fucking COVID or whatever it is, whatever else you need to forget about? Can you escape and just enjoy watching wrestling because the stories are kind of fun and the characters are fun? If the answer to that is yes, then ignore all the rest of the shit because none of it matters in real life.
Right.
The only thing that matters is how you feel, not how you think. If you want to think, watch a documentary. But if you want to feel and be in just escape, then enjoy the product for what it is, not for what some jerk off in his basement tells you it should be that's never been in the business and doesn't really understand it.
When the music's over, turn out the light.
Beautiful.
And right now, I'm not thinking, I'm feeling. It's time for our special guest.
Get it.
Bringing him in live. Let's do it. Oh, we just lost him.
No, we
literally
didn't.
just lost him due to internet.
Oh, dude.
Denovius, when you're back, we got you, my man. Oh, wait a minute. Wait for it. Oh, yeah, Anthony. I am the first ever book report I wrote. I do not have like SAT or ACT smart skills, much like that guy or Lauren. Like Lauren's super book smart. I'm more of like I like to read, but yeah, first ever book report I did was on Jim Morrison. I have his arrest report. Actually, it's like the thing I prize the most in here, and you can kind of see it sometimes. It's up here. But Denovius Mack, yes sir, bringing him in. Hey, okay, I got a question for you. I had no idea that you coached hoops. Where have you coached? We DM'd briefly about it. You've been doing it for a couple years. How did you get into coaching hoops?
Hear me?
Yeah, I got you. A little bit
spotty, but okay.
Oh, I think we just lost him again.
I think we did. I know he's in. You know where he is?
In Texas, yeah, where they were.
Nope. Somewhere where we wish we both be.
Where?
Nivo Ami. He's in Miami. Ay, Dios mío.
But he doesn't live in Miami, right?
I don't believe he does live in
Because
Miami.
I remember he was having all those with all the Texas problems. He had I know he was down and out for a while. They didn't have power for a while. I mean, the weather kicked his ass.
I would be up in Fort Lauderdale at
Basic
Scarlett's or
basic training, spring training.
No, I am. Hey, real quick, as we bring in Denovius as he is back, we are doing also another announcement to make. I don't have a graphic for it, so just remember it. We're taking my ChatPack Live on the road. Well, sort of. Spring training. There's only 2 states that have it, that allow fans in. It's Florida and here. And no, I'm not just doing it to blow smoke for the White Sox. Yes, I am. But we are going to be doing my ChatPack Live Spring Training Edition from a White Sox game. Hold on. I'm getting a text, and it's basketball. Damn. Just caught the end of it. Let's go to Denovius. What are you doing in Miami then?
Oh, man, hey, what's going on, guys?
What's up, man? How are you?
I'm doing well, man. Sorry about the audio and connection problems. I guess
you're good. You're good.
Down here in Miami. Oh no, me, the wife, and baby are down here enjoying spring break. So,
hell yeah, dude. That's awesome. That's awesome. So, little spring break action. Hey, man, you and Frank can take this one. Fatherhood. Do we lose him?
Can
you tell us? You have I believe a girl, correct? I might have a little bit of an audio connection.
All right, sorry about that.
No, you're all good. You're all good. You're all good.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah, no, we just came down here for spring break, just hanging out for a couple of days. So I had to get away. A lot going on. So it's good to have a self time.
and you're a father to a I'm not aware of her age. But
she's
I know
8,
it's
and then I have it.
Okay.
She's 8, and then my son is 19. Mm-hmm.
Okay. So, well, Frank, there you go. You guys pretty close and having daughters about in the same age range.
Yeah, I have an 11-year-old. She is my entire world. She can tug at my heart any way she possibly can. I'm wrapped around her finger. I'm daddy. She's daddy's little girl. I totally get it.
I'm not the only one. So.
And Denovius, did you get either the kids into wrestling, or did they find it themselves, or either fans even?
Well, okay, so my son, who's 19, he's my stepson, but he actually was a wrestling fan prior to me coming into his life. I came into his life when I was about 10 years old, and my daughter, she actually used to watch it with me growing up, when she was little. So I remember seeing her in a Pampers talking about, yes.
I love it. Yeah, I love it.
So I bought her the Raw Women's WWE title, and I got a picture of her. She's like, oh.
I love it. Yeah. I love it. That's cool. I mean, like, again, we talk about the community. A lot of people find it to be cheesy or what, but Denovius, you've had some very impactful moments on the AFS community. Not to get too sappy before we get into sports and other probably sophomore things, but really, what has the AFS community meant to you? I know, Frank just sharing the story that he has about Henry the belt, and that is just more than giving. You've definitely been able to express yourself on some of our Zoom calls, and we've gotten to know you. What's that been like for you?
Man, I tell you, it's a surreal moment per se, I should say, because growing up, I watched Eric Bischoff, around that time I started watching wrestling about 1994ish. So when I looked and saw, I turned on the TV one day and saw Nash torpedo Rey Mysterio onto the trailer. I was like, oh my God, it's Diesel. But and so it's funny because you think about that. That was what back in '96. So here we are, fast forward with 20 plus years, and so the fact that you're able to have this camaraderie with other people who enjoy the same things you do. My best friend John Hickson, he's the one who turned me on to Something to Wrestle podcast, and that was like 3 years ago. And I was actually doing a delivery job during the summer when I was break from school, and I was like, well, I'm finally give a chance to listen to all these podcasts, and I caught up like a whole summer. And so he actually turned me on to that after shows, and then the other podcasts, and then when Eric Bischoff came, I was just like, oh. But when we have those meetings, it's just more about I don't think that people really understand that the heightening of that platform. Like those are, I can generally like guys I never met before, but you can honestly tell they're genuine. And that's just something you don't find these days. The way they uplift each other, and like some guys will message me asking me how I was doing during the whole winter storm and through some of the deaths we had in our family. I appreciate that, and I return the favor to them. Like, hey, so and so is not doing so well. So say a prayer for them. We're all one big family, and that's I just think comrade for that because the fact that his his brainchild came to manifestation for us. It all connects.
Yes, absolutely, right there.
And I was going to say, you guys have a lot of courage because of sharing personal stories. Frank, yours with JR, that was back in August, almost, and we're coming up. That'll be a year ago in August. And Genovius, I mean, several of those, and people might look at it like, hey, we want to ask wrestling questions.
Right.
Well, let's face facts. Watch Beyond the Mat. Wrestling and life intersect everywhere. Yep. Everywhere you think that pro wrestling may not intersect with a point of your life, if you're a fan, if it's something that you enjoy, it's going to intersect with it. So I find it to be. I give you guys both a lot of just a ton of praise, and I don't think I'd have the courage. I can come up with an interesting question about, I could do some research, but to be personal and to really share like that, I give you a ton of props, both of you, because I mean, Frank with JR, Genovius on several occasions. How'd you get into coaching though? Because when I'm looking at your Twitter, I'm like, oh, I had no idea. So when did that go down?
Well, when I graduated high school, I want to say maybe like a couple years afterwards, I played baseball in high school. I actually went back to the team I played after I graduated. It was like our select team, and I helped out there. And I kind of got a fill up from then, besides refereeing, officiating from my college, like doing intramurals and whatnot. And so when Jalen, my son, he got during the summer when he was going to be a freshman, going to be an eighth grader. I started to volunteer, being one of the teams he plays because we're a big basketball family. My side, his mom's side, his dad's side, we're all a big basketball family. And I'm just like, it's a good time for me to bond with him. And that's how I really got into coaching, just getting back to there. And then, I did his age in high school for about 3 or 4 years, and now my daughter, she's getting into it, so I've been more like coaching with her. So, but I did do it some at school. But it's just a good opportunity to give back and show the kids, there's something more that a male role model can give you as opposed to shooting the ball advice.
That just I mean, speaks to definitely the person that I've come to know. Just our limited interactions on those Zoom calls, paying it forward like that goes right in stride with everything. So I'm going to open up this question to both of you about hoops. For your 19-year-old and Frank, take it from your perspective. Okay, so we got a Rockets fan. Of course, I'm a Bulls fan, being from Chicago. I'm not sure where your fandom lies.
Same with you. I'm from Chicago.
You say, okay, all right. So for your 19-year-old, is he more a fan of players or a certain team? Because I've noticed a certain trend in shoes, in style, in brands, and everybody wants to be a brand. Do you still have a loyalty? And Frank, to you, do you think it's more about the player or the team nowadays? And probably the wrong question to ask you, being a Rockets fan. The worst question I've ever asked you.
Well,
hey, do you think it's about the team or the player? You just traded James Harden. What do you think?
Well, here's my
hey,
my
dickhead.
I personally am team loyal. So, through thick and thin, Tennessee had its year. It was 10 years of between 2-14 and 8-8. I mean, they were horrible for the longest time, and I was a vocal Titans fan, and if they sucked, I yelled and booed them. But as you can see behind me, that sign never came down. And the Rockets, I'm a Rockets fan. Yes, I got into basketball for one player, and that was Yao Ming, which made me a Rockets fan. But when he retired and left, I stuck with them. I'm very put off by things that happen in basketball when it comes to these players getting together and making a super team. Like look at the Nets now, what they look like, and what Golden State was for a while, and then Miami did it, and the Lakers did it. And then you've got teams like the Bulls who haven't been good in 20-something years. You got teams like Milwaukee that
we're okay with Ben Gordon and Luol Deng. We made a run there.
Really?
A tiny one. Don't make fun of us.
Well, you've got these low market teams like the Memphis Grizzlies.
No, you're right. Unless they get a draft pick.
Yeah, like we got Giannis, like the Milwaukee's got Giannis, but it's like same thing in baseball. I mean, baseball, like you've got the super teams and I'm a Red Sox fan, but you got the Red Sox and the Yankees and the all these teams that are willing to spend, and then they beat up on the Kansas City Royals teams and the lowly Orioles. Like I don't know. Like I'm loyal to my teams, but I have an issue outside of football with competitive balance.
Okay, and Denovius, I'm going to go to you with this one. A point in case that Frank just made is let's go back to it was a coin flip for Magic going to the Bulls or to the Lakers, because the Bulls could have had the number one pick, and that would they have ever taken Michael Jordan? I don't know. Would he have ended up in, with Portland, and Portland being this great team? The what if game of Tim Duncan going to Boston, it was always a what if game. And probably the latest what if game that people play in Arizona around here is the selection of DeAndre Ayton over a guy like Luka Doncic. And his own effing coach passed on him and now I get it. It was the number one pick. DeAndre Ayton went to Arizona. Suns had the first pick, whatever, yada, yada, yada. Luka Doncic is a generational player. He's going to be a Hall of Famer. Mm-hmm. So do you see it more about the individual now, or I guess kind of a two-parter? Do you see it more individual or team? And two, how does your 19-year-old take it in? Is he more like, oh, I'm a fan of this player or that player?
Okay, well, I'll start with that one about Jalen. Well, ever since, I would say, when it came to football, he had flip-flop. But basketball, he's kind of been at the same stage with the same team, and that's Portland. He always loved Damian Lillard. And you can't go wrong with Damian. Dame time.
Great player.
He's been right. And see, he just, that's his team, Portland's team. And I admired it because he finally got a team. He stayed with it. But I want to say that's probably been like the last 5 or 6 years he's been with Portland. So now as far as like looking back, I mean, growing up, like from you, like it's you as well, Carl. I'm from Chicago. So, but the only thing me and you differ at is I'm a Cubs. You're a White Sox, though. I know.
Everybody, nobody's a White Sox fan, so it's okay.
Yeah. But it was kind of instilled into me, to go for my home team, because when I go for those, but now the only issue I really had was, I was a Bulls fan by nature because of my family. Also, my second cousin is B.J. Armstrong. So, if you remember him from 91, 92, 93, 3 rings, whatnot. But I think that more so they're going. I'm not shocked about this.
Shut it down. Hold on. I got to get. Hold on. I have to get something.
Oh.
Okay. Oh, Lord. Oh, boy. What is he doing? Oh Lord have mercy. BJ.
Already got
So
off.
I'm gonna while he's away, remind me
Mhm.
BJ Armstrong. That sounds so
Number
familiar.
10. Number 10, he was 91, 92, 93. He actually used to be the agent for Derrick Rose.
Oh God!
Yep.
Right. Holy crap! Wow.
Yeah.
Wow.
But
How about what about football? While he's doing his thing. How about football? Where's your
I
allegiance
go with
lie?
the Bears. If when I
Oh, the
watch
Bear.
it, go
Yeah.
with the
All right.
Bears.
Phew.
Yeah.
I know you're in Texas, so I was like, please don't say the Texans. Please don't say the Texans.
Nah. Well, nah. I mean, the most I would never say would be the Cowboys. So
Yeah, well, I could
go.
take the Cowboys. The Cowboys I'm fine with. I'm very indifferent to the Cowboys. It's just I when it comes to football, I am very I don't know, I'm a little nuts. The gimmick attorney is a huge Colts fan, and so is Cassio Kid. Like I get so angry when they say it. They like love their Colts, and I'm like, damn it, damn you bastards. All right, Carl, what were you doing?
All right, I was looking for when I was 8. Excuse me, 7 going on 8. My mom won on now. Denovius, I'm gonna guess what year you were born. Tell me if I'm high or low. I'm gonna go 85.
Lower.
Lower, so like 86 would be closer.
No, go the opposite way.
Oh, opposite way. We're going up. Okay. It's somewhere between 80 and 85.
Yeah, right. You're close to it. 84.
Oh, perfect. Okay, because I was going to say when you got into wrestling and everything. So my mom won on B95 or God, what was the cool jazz station? She won lunch with Will Perdue and BJ Armstrong at the Berto Center in Deerfield. And like and I got like one question to ask, and I didn't know what to. And I just asked BJ Armstrong, "Do you like shooting guard or point guard better?" And he like laughed and just signed me. I have this like really cool autograph of him. But that Bulls team, what part of Chicago did you grow up in?
West Side.
If you don't mind me asking you, listen, my mom grew up in one of the roughest areas right next to Cabrini Green. I know it probably doesn't seem that way, and I don't want to make this but I know the West Side to be tough at times. Do you care discussing at all, like the area that you like were in?
No, I was over there washing off and 55th.
Okay, I know where you're at. Yep. So with that, I mean, it's tough to see what Chicago has gone through. It's kind of become what Detroit was in the 80s. It's like what Chicago is now. Do you go back and visit? Still got family there?
Yeah, I was actually up there in December for my aunt's funeral, but we'll go back periodically. My oldest brother lives up there. I still have my uncle and my cousins live up there as well. It's just and I get what you're saying. I want to say like prior to when Obama was senator or I think up there, the West Side did not look the same. It did not look the same before he got
at all.
So when he got in there afterwards, started cleaning it up. Now I was like, okay, now I can recognize the West Side from the East Side and stuff like that. Because before that, I mean, you just really couldn't tell. And now it's just, But now it's starting to be back. I can differentiate the sides. But my mom goes back probably about once a month. We would still have family there. But I go back pretty.
That's awesome. That's awesome. And I love that we all have. We joke around. Bruno obviously tongue in cheek about Providence and. It's one thing that I've noticed that a lot of people have in common. They love where they're from. They have respect where they're from. But you made a move down south, and when you did so, it seems like your wrestle fandom kind of carried with you. Have you ever taken what Conrad has talked about as the proverbial wrestling break? If you did, what was it that made you take the break? Or if you didn't, what's gotten you more, I guess outside of AFS, what product has gotten you excited to actually take it in, to digest it in? So kind of a two-part. A, have you ever taken a wrestling break? B, what are you digging today? If I could just make it simple.
Yeah, definitely. Well, I did take a break. It was kind of not like me wanting to take it, but I kind of was forced to. I had a bad car wreck back in 2001. And I mean, I was pronounced dead on the scene. I had to learn how to
Oh
walk
my
again,
lord.
talk again. Yeah, so I mean, during that whole period of time, I really went conscious because the right side of my brain was damaged. So I controlled everything on my left side. And I really didn't remember any, my short-term memory was gone. So as far as like that whole time, as far as wrestling goes, I missed out on that. Like I didn't really know what was going on. I was trying to get other things were more important at that time, like getting back to school so I can graduate high school. Trying to,
Yeah.
salvage my arm. Things about surgery and getting that motivation to get out the hospital. So I think that was when I took that that sabbatical break that Conrad was more talking about, but it was unwilling because at that time, I mean, I loved wrestling. I still love wrestling. As far as now, what I get into, I'm liking the AEW. I do watch, I still watch SmackDown a lot. Every now and then I watch Raw. NXT is good, but I'm still a lifelong fan. I mean, I still watch it. Me and my daughter do chops against each other. She goes, "Woo!" So she's
I
great.
love that.
Wow, dude. I've got a lot more. I was unaware of that as well.
Yeah, I didn't.
You never know about something until you open up Pandora's box.
Yeah.
How have you let me ask you this. After going through something like that, and we don't have to get into the details of the car wreck, accident, crash, whatever, however you want to term it. But let me ask you let me go silver lining on you.
Mm-hmm.
How does that affect you when you're pronounced dead? I mean, that to me, I've never heard anybody, even with my parents being in the medical field, I just like I'm at a loss of words of going through that. How much does that play into the role you play into your kids' lives, not just your own, stepson, biological daughter, or the kids you coach? How does that play a factor into it? Is it more? Is it an appreciation level that probably no? I don't think Frank and I could. Well, Frank, you might actually be able to, because I think at one point you were, you face your own, and I know I've
not
been
not to Denovius's extent, no.
Right.
Right.
But what do you take from that that you carry with you today? I guess is the best way to ask that question.
I take that when I try to when I coach the kids and they call me Coach Mack or whatnot, I go around the classroom and I especially talk to the athletes, and I tell them, I said, the first thing you have to remember about what you are is you are a student athlete. I put an emphasis on the word student because at any given time, your athletic abilities can be taken away. Now, when I was in high school, I was a real good baseball player. I was getting letters as a sophomore, so it was actually the second day of baseball tryouts when I was at a new high school, is when I got in the car wreck. And from that moment, my arm was ripped off. All you seen was just the bone. Like my seatbelt cut it while the glass, my seatbelt ripped it while the glass cut it. And you can see the scar, you can, all from right there. And so, it literally took me 6 months to learn how to do this again. So at that point, I mean, I lost it all. But actually, I mean, it was the best thing for me. I know people might think that's ironic, but I got to come to know God, and through that, He used me as a testimony to give out to students and go around the world and share my testimony with other kids as well. So I tell them, don't take anything for granted. Focus on your schoolwork first. Your talent is gonna be there. But you always gotta. This is more important than anything else.
Yes. Wow.
So.
Holy cow, dude! I mean, I initially, wow, The first thing that came to mind was how fragile life is. Jim Crockett Jr., we got that part one, and we got so much information. Frank, you referring to part two over the weekend, saying that you got to, I haven't gotten to it yet, but with you at such a young age in high school, I mean, I'm not saying one is, not trying to compare the two, they're different situations, but the fragility of life is, wow, that's very real. And I just find it very encouraging that you're able to instill that in anybody that you coach, and that carrying that trait, and the fact that, listen, I know a lot of people say, "Oh, you don't talk politics or religion or anything," but you finding religion, if that's part of your story, can you speak to that at least a little bit of finding something, maybe a higher calling that helped you throughout this?
Yeah. So, okay. So, all right. I'll tell you the story. This is the same testimony I gave when I was doing mission trips across in Wales. Me and John Hickson, who's another guy. So,
He seems like a good guy. He really does.
We got to get Hickson on.
Oh man, he's phenomenal. That guy say,
Wait, did you say Wales? Or you say Wales? Like as in the UK Wales?
Yeah.
Holy hell!
Our church at the time did mission trips over there, so we went over. That's where we actually met at. We were doing rehearsal for the Wales mission trip, and ever since then, back in 2002, we've been friends ever since. So,
that's I love that kind of stuff. Go ahead. I'm sorry.
Holy cow, dude! I'm blown away.
Oh yeah. So I tell people the same story. What happened was that I remember laying when I was in the coma for 2.5 weeks, and I remember I had a dream, and I woke up and I was in a courtroom setting, and I would go up to the where the judge sit at, but I couldn't see his face, and he was all the way at the top. And I remember asking him, why did this happen to me? And he quoted some words to me at the time. I didn't know what they were because I wasn't really in the church like that. He said, "For I know the plans I have for you, declares the Lord. Plans to prosper you, plans not to harm you, plans to give you hope in the future." And at that time, I'm only 16. I didn't go to church, I didn't have anything like that. I really depended on. So I was like, okay, so when am I getting out of here? He said, "You're getting out on a Thursday." Well, my initial release date was March 26, 2001, which was a Tuesday. But by me rehabbing and getting quickly, like learning how to walk, 1 minute I was, on crutches, I was in a walker, and then a couple of days later, I was just doing it by myself. And so I started progressing into my rehabilitation faster than what they anticipated. And what they did was they went ahead and moved my release date from March 26th to March 22nd, which was a Thursday. And I remember thinking back to my dream, I'm like, okay, maybe I heard it somewhere. Well, at the same time, when I'm doing the rehab, I remember this guy who came from the same church that me and John met at, St. Bible Church. He saw me when I was at the first hospital, but at that time, that's when I was really in a coma. But then he came to the second hospital, and he shot pool with me. He was like, "Hey man, I came and saw you before. I know you probably don't remember me, but my name is Simon." And he said, "I like when you get out of here, I'd like for you to come hang out with us. A lot of your friends were praying for you, and so we just, gonna invite you to one of our home groups." So I was like, "Okay, well, I hear everybody praying, so I'll check it out." When I got back to school, I did follow up on there, and I remember going back. It was like a Wednesday night. It was a home group for the same church, and it was like, yeah, a lot of my friends was there. We had snacks, played games, and whatnot. Then we talked about the Bible a little bit. So I started going regularly. It wasn't until probably that summer I remember asking him. I said, "Hey, Simon, why did this stuff happen to me?" Because I figured, I was a good kid. And he gave me a list with a whole bunch of scriptures on there to look up. And I remember looking at this list, and I'm like, "Hey, what is this?" And he was like, "Scriptures." I said, "What do I do with this?" He said, "Look it up in the Bible." I was like, "I don't have one." So he gave me a Bible right then and there. So when I got home, I looked it up, and one of the passages I looked was Jeremiah 29:11. And it said, "For I know the plans I have for you, declares the Lord. Plans to prosper you, not to harm you. Plans to give you hope in the future." And when I saw that, I just dropped the book. I was just like, that's it. And
you said Jeremiah 29:11?
Yes, sir.
So in a way, you encountering fatality, the end of the game over, actually ended up, would you say, I mean, is this fair to say, being the biggest blessing of your life? The thing that actually saved your life is the thing that almost ended your life?
Yes, sir. Most definitely. I wouldn't go back on it. I wouldn't do anything different.
Brandy commenting in.
Hey, Brandy. Yeah, I would not do anything different. That saved my life. It made me the man who I am today. I mean, I have my faults, even still to this day. But
Everybody does.
Right.
Dude, I think blown away.
Yeah.
Wow.
On that note, like Frank, how do I transition?
I was like, I don't know how you follow that. I mean, well, because like Denovius, like think about it. Like I've known of you since this past summer. We've been on Zoom calls together, right? And I'm always like, oh, he's awesome. I like that guy. I like that guy. I like the guy. And I'm like, we gotta. Carl and I are talking, and Carl's like, we gotta talk to Denovius, and I'm like, yeah, I would love to just learn more about him. So it's like, I mean, I'm sorry it took so long.
Oh, no worries.
Because,
man, I know. I'm almost like, it makes me wonder, and to any top guy, top gals, anybody part of the AFS community that has the courage and has the, man, I'm going to just say the wherewithal that you have, Donius, to be able to piece your story together, not just in a stock answer, in the testimony that you give, but you're really sharing and bearing, like, hey, world, this is me. If anybody else has that and wants to share that, please let us know, especially for Monday nights. Monday nights is our night to connect with the AFS community, to hear the story behind the story. And so I really give you credit's an understatement. It's pretty mind-blowing when you not to have to make what we like to call a Ric Flair hard left on this one. Who do you still look up to, the Bulls, or is there any player and was the I don't know about for you, but and Frank, kind of same thing. Felt like losing Kobe Bryant and then the pandemic was a real tough hurdle for the NBA. Are you more of a college guy? Are you more of an NBA guy? And when it comes to that, what do you watch for? Is it the fact that the 3-point shot is, like you said, your 19-year-old loves Damian Lillard? Well, the guy can. I mean, he and Steph alone can be credited as two of the greatest shooters that there are. I mean, and makers. Let's just not say. So you can shoot a lot, you can miss a lot. They make a lot. For you, what is it? College? Is it NBA? What do you like to look at?
I look at both, man. I'm more of an NBA, but I love college basketball as well. And, even though I'm a long diehard Bulls fan, my favorite player was Ray Allen. Jesus Shuttlesworth. Even though I don't care how many records Steph breaks, he's still the best 3-point shooter of all time to me.
He is.
That's just my guy. And when Kobe, man, I tell you what, I remember when Kobe passed away and I got that news. I remember calling my mother and she said, "I ain't heard that cry from you since Tupac." And it was just like, I watched Kobe career from start to finish. And it's just like, man, and that was real hard. And I think the beauty behind that, though, I always find something behind it. That's my daughter saw me mourning that. She goes, "You know what, Poppy? I'm ready to play basketball." Right after that,
dude,
so that was like the best stuff. But when it comes to college, I'm Kansas. When it comes to Duke and that North Carolina rivalry, I'll go with Duke, but I'm a Kansas fan.
Kansas, loud. Matt Lovett, huge shout out. The loudest experience in pro sports, college sports, anything. Allen Fieldhouse feels like you're about to be like, your chest feels like it's about to be crushed with sound. Like, it is so loud in there. It is one of the, now I can't say, despite being from Chicago, once again, Frank, you've pounded Providence. Where else? All right. You've hit Boston. Where else have you seen live shows, Frank? You've seen Providence, Boston,
Springfield, Mass.
Springfield.
You're talking about wrestling shows?
Like any of them, yeah.
Oh God, I mean, I've been.
Did you go to White Plains, New York? Did you go to like the Poconos for?
No, all my wrestling stuff has been up here. I've been to Manchester, New Hampshire, Springfield, Mass, Hartford, Connecticut, Boston, Providence. And at one point, I will tell you, in the late '90s, they used to go to a place called this is the World Wrestling Federation used to go to a place called the Warwick Musical Theater.
Yeah,
it was literally a tent, and they shut it down in 1999. And I went to those shows for about 6 years. And
pretty sure that's the same tent where Bruce Pritchard took Ricky the Dragon Steamboat to learn how to breathe fire. And guy blew his face off.
I mean, and of course, I've seen wrestling in Jacksonville too. So
and Jacksonville, Denovius, how about for you? Have you anything in person that kind of gripped you live, or have you done anything live lately, or anything growing up that kept you a fan?
Yeah, me and John actually. You know, I went to a couple of Monday Night Raws before I met him, but ever since, me and him have been going. We went to Houston for WrestleMania, for the Royal Rumble, in San Antonio. Then we actually went out to when WrestleMania was in Orlando. We went to that one.
Okay, the roller coaster one.
Mm-hmm. And then of course, when they came to Dallas, we were there. So
I was there.
Yep.
That was. The interesting thing, again, the only fun story I have about Dallas is my little brother being and I mean, I guess this ties in because you got a 19-year-old, so he's 20. Let's see, I'm 35, going to be 36 in August, so he's
what day?
24. Are you also a Leo?
15.
Get the head, dude. Frank, how many of us are Leo? Dude, we are on this Leo. Okay.
What day are you?
What day?
The 15th.
I'm the 16th.
This is nuts. Okay, Lauren,
awesome.
Mike, Frank, myself, you. I know there's others, and I'm so sorry if I've forgotten your other August birthdays. Brandy commenting in.
I love that scripture.
It just was a great scripture there. Yeah. And again, teach their own. We respect anything that anybody does believe in. And yeah, guess what? If politics or religion is part of somebody's story, we're going to tell it. We're not going to hide from it. Because it doesn't, if that's part of our AFS community and that's part of a certain individual, so not like anybody's going to have a problem with it. I just get defensive. I knuckle up. I'm like, hey, no. So Brandy, thank you for that. Micah at 7-8 for anybody that wants to check that out. Getting back into it. Dallas, the only weird thing about that was that the Wi-Fi shut down, and I remember going, and my brother so we paid like $50 to park. You walk in that's why I'm telling people, I don't know what your experience was like. We had field level seats. We paid a bunch. NXT the night before was untoppable, and the Raw after was just as amazing. The WrestleMania, it was almost like, whoa, boy, this is bad. This is not it. Like being there live. Like, don't get me wrong. 105, whatever it was, 103,000 people. It was like after Zack Ryder, okay, and then it was like Jericho, okay, Jericho and AJ Styles, but then it was like a progressive downhill, especially live. I'm glad they've split up in 2 days. But the only anecdote I have from that is if you go back and you watch the pre-show, there's a women's match with Nikki Bella, like in the C collar, like in the neck collar, but you couldn't get in unless you had paper tickets. And my brother kept teasing me all week. Why did you print out tickets? Well, their Wi-Fi went down at AT&T Stadium, and there was a lot of people left outside. I don't know if you were one of them or not, actually going there, or what your experience was like.
I print them too,
No,
so it's
we got
okay.
in before that. Yeah, I think we got it. Oh, actually, we did have print tickets because I remember John printed it off, and he it's funny because my son was with him, and my other best friend Sergio was with me, and see, we had 2 tickets that were like probably like in the 100 section, and see, John and my son were down on the floor.
See, I was more 100. Like, I don't know how to describe it. We're off the ramp on the but the where you went to the bathroom and like where you went to get refreshments was that really cool Cowboys. We were on that Cowboys side of the locker room where like you see the Sunday Night Football shot. If you see Frank, you familiar with this? Where you see them walk out of the locker room, and there's bars and there's like refreshments and like it's like for the VIP. Yeah. So they have like all this cool. They're like the first to do it. The Rams and Chargers have. I'm waiting for SoFi Stadium. That's what I'm waiting for, to actually go to one. It's close. Well,
SoFi is going to be next year.
2 years.
So they're doing Dallas again next year.
Correct, and I think that do you think that's to me what that signals is one thing. I think a lot of people, and I'm just speculating, but agree or disagree, and just either way, what that tells me is the WrestleMania we were at 32 had about a 45-minute Rock segment with the shortest match in WrestleMania history of Rock hitting the rock bottom on Eric Rowan, I believe, and and still pissed that I was getting literally Red Bull from my brother, and I hear, "You think I'm cute? You know I'm sexy." I'm like, son of a bitch. I literally left my debit card and everything there, and I sprinted. He's like, "Oh, cool, HBK." I'm like, "Yeah, I know it's cool. It's HBK." And then it was like, dun, drop you on your stack of dimes you call neck, and I'm like, "Oh!" I'm freaking out. And then Mankind, because it was during that stupid ass. It was League of Nations and I was like, I literally had to go back and be like, the blue card, Mandik. I left it here. I ran out like a fanboy. I'm a mark for HBK. Can you just give me that card back? 32. I would say your headline is Rock and Reigns, right? I mean, at the rate they're going
this year or next?
Next, and Dallas when they can put
and Brandy confirmed it in the comments. Yeah, next year Dallas, then SoFi.
Yeah,
I think
SoFi is super over budget. We'll get into that in a second.
I want to say they need to do it next year, but I have a feeling they're going to hold off until it goes to Hollywood.
See, that I think that's an interesting one, because I wonder. What are they? And with the 2 nights, I wonder what they close with each night this year. Even, I mean, I would assume night 2 closes with Edge and Roman, and night 1 closes with
Lashley.
I would think it'd be
you know what? I'm
that
with
would
you.
be a really good idea.
I think it is Sasha and Belair. I think you're right.
Well, they announced tonight, spoiler alert, Lashley and Drew for the belt. Yeah.
See, I'm not putting Sheamus in there for that 3-way, because you look at that match that Drew and Sheamus had last week. I mean, good gosh.
I mean, Sheamus. I don't feel like they've used Sheamus right in years. Same thing with Cesaro. They have never used Cesaro right.
No.
Yep.
And it's, I mean, we all had that. We had Kofi Mania. Let's have Cesaro Mania for crying out loud. Like
he's such a throwback. He feels like a Don Morocco or like just like that strongman that was always there, and he had tag titles, and he had the IC. I think he's had the IC title. Correct me if I'm wrong, anybody. I think he's had the US even at one point. He's had a lot of. But they were talking about, it was interesting. They were talking just on that the Greed episode where we played the clip earlier from Eric Bischoff. They were talking about guys that are, forever be underrated. I think that Dolph Ziggler, he's a tiny bit more polarizing, but for sure Cesaro is somebody. But what I noticed the most on your bio comes from a quote from a certain wrestler from Chicago IL. CM Punk. Is he on the proverbial Mount Rushmore for you?
Yeah. Yes.
Yeah.
I don't think my
voice of the voiceless.
He is not done. He needs to show
No,
up somewhere.
there we go. There's the next question. Is he done?
No.
I don't care where
the crowds get there. Yeah.
I mean, honestly, see, Denovius, I've said that this entire pandemic. Everyone's like, WWE sucks, WWE's flat. I think they're saving stuff for when they can actually have crowds again. And I don't know if if Punk wants to come back and just make a good amount of money and be in decent storylines, I think WWE's going to be the one to do it. But if he wants to go to the upstart AEW, maybe not make as much, but have some phenomenal matches with like guys like. Could you imagine CM Punk and Adam Page, or CM Punk and Kenny Omega?
CM Punk and Darby Allin.
Darby. Hell, we could even get a CM Punk and Sting.
Yeah.
Could you imagine that?
Cinematic match.
Yeah, please.
My gosh. Yeah. I mean, at the same time, no, I'm sorry, Denovius. Go ahead, please.
Oh, no. I was just going to say, when I look back at the reveal of who the person was, the Hall of Famer, I mean, I kind of had a clue. I just, I thought it was Christian. And I don't really think, I even talked this with John and a couple other people. Now, there's three ways to look at it. Was it really a WWE loss? I don't really think so. Was it a AEW gain? And I go back to what CM Punk said when they asked him, are you the third? Are you the new guy? He said, no. He said, what do you think? Who do you think it should be? He said, honestly, they should just go ahead and push somebody they already have, which is entirely true. And so then I look at it from another aspect. It's Christian who was the one who came out the winner of that one, because that doesn't really make a big difference. Punk said it best. They need to push more talent that they have.
Punk has been, and I'm with you on that, because let's actually go back to the antithesis. Let's go back to the actual structure of what the Shield was. Mm-hmm. Right? He was the first to say, because he was supposed to have Daniel Bryan and Big Show, I believe, as his heavy, some sort of combination like that, where they were going to start some faction. And Punk was hurt. He had the staph infection. If you haven't heard it, Art of Wrestling, Cole Cabana, literally, it is, if you're a wrestling fan at all, if you have one shred, go and find it and listen to all 74 minutes. It broke Apple Podcasts when it came out, because it was the first time that Punk could actually speak. And as your Twitter bio says, voice of the voiceless, well, he was no more and he went off. It landed them in court, but guess what? They won. So there's that. But Frank, I highly recommend The Art of Wrestling. That's a must listen to. The thing with Punk. Okay, let's hit this. We just hit. Oh, we lost. Nope. Yeah. Maybe.
Sorry.
Oh, he's in audio.
No, you're right. We got you with audio. It's all good. All right. So you got 3 WWE CM Punk dream matches. So we've already hit the AEW, what he could do. Your Darby Allins, your Stings, your I think I would feel bad, honestly, for the microphone between him and Eddie Kingston. It would that microphone would be like, I'm running out of batteries.
Yeah.
I'm just saying. It would be like, it would honestly be like, not the gumdrop buttons. No. Like that mic between Eddie Kingston and CM Punk might be ripped apart. But if we go WWE, what three would you say, program-wise, build-wise, where would you go with if you had three? This is how I would do it. Almost a rebook with Eric. I'll leave that one open-ended.
Oh,
I actually have to think about mine.
I gotta be honest.
I know my number one.
Well, Carl, give me your number one because I want to kind of feel this out. I'm trying to figure out.
I would go 3, The Fiend, because I think that would just be interesting in general. I don't know if it would be the most.
What, The Fiend? What, like rebooking The Fiend completely?
No, Fiend CM Punk. I'm sorry.
You're talking about opponents for Punk?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
Okay.
If there was, because we talked about the AEW side of
Sting,
Darby Allin, different guys that could be their Cage, you name it. Eddie Kingston and him on the mic would just rip each other apart. Oh my God, MJF and him would just. Oh Lord. Oh my God.
On the WWE side, let me throw a name out there.
Can I take a cold shower just like for like? Do you guys mind just like a real just a tiny? All right, I'm back. Whew. Oh my gosh. I would go Fiend. I would go 2. I would go 2 is easy. It's the match that everybody's always wanted to see is him and Seth Rollins. But number 1, hopefully I'm not taking it from anybody, but you have to play off of the person that was in that room. If you subscribe and believe the, well, you don't have to believe it because it ended up in a court in Chicago, and Punk and Cabana won. Number 1 is Triple H, because there's real life heat there, and that it could get into a Brett Stone Cold, a HBK Brett. I'm talking about blurring the effing lines to a point where when you listen to the interview and you listen to the visceral, I shouldn't say hate, because Punk had reason to be angry because he was hurt. His elbow was something that kept Moxley out with staff and having MRSA and going through all of that. And Punk's like, I'm hurt. I'm disgruntled. I'm not angry. My wife's not here. I'm out of here. Later, you don't wrestle me, or I don't wrestle you. You wrestle me, Triple H. That at a WrestleMania, at a SoFi Stadium of CM Punk and Triple H, sells it the F out. It sells it out. I mean, right? I mean, that you have so much hate. I got to stop saying that word. You have so much angst that they could build off in storyline and resolve their differences behind the scenes. They're guys, nobody's really hating each other. I don't think there's a lot of real life heat amongst. I really don't. I think a lot of people resolve things. I think there's too much HR. I think when you're a publicly traded company, they will make sure that HR steps in and figures it out. But if you give us the illusion of Punk and Triple H of all the things that you could do, how messed up Punk's title run was after the Summer of Punk, all the different things you could do. Denovius, I go to you, and if any of the ones that you want to go off of mine, I just went Fiend, Rollins, Triple H, but that was kind of easy pickings. Anybody you would love to see him against?
Yeah, for number one for me, it'd be AJ Styles.
Oh
yeah!
My
Wow.
God!
Yeah, I think that match was, that's been whispering the win for me. I think that'd be probably one of the greatest. And I like where you were going with the Triple H one, but I would go one further. I gotta see 1A, aka Shawn Michaels versus Punk.
Oh, jeez.
And I'm like,
1A.
okay.
Wow. Yeah.
Joe Carter, long drive. That's back. That is not coming. Holy. Okay, let's go back to this. Was that planned or was that improvised? The HBK line that I personally never will forget, only because Punk was hot and he had the mic, when HBK goes, "I don't drink, I don't use drugs," and Punk jumps in, "Anymore."
Yep.
That one. Okay, probably scripted, but okay. So Punk and HBK. Listen, I don't care if they're. Could you imagine if they were battling for the right to run NXT?
Look at Brandy's comments. She's got 2 in there. 2 hell of a. Oh wow.
All right, so HBK is your 1A. We're good. Let's see what Brandy's got.
Shinsuke and Punk. Holy crap! Look at the next one.
All right. No.
Yeah. Now let me throw one out there that Brandy's not gonna like this one, but Matt Riddle and CM Punk.
I don't understand everybody's Matt Riddle hate. I don't get it. No. I'm sorry.
Bro,
let me hold on. I got it. I'm gonna fix that. I'm gonna fix that.
Oh my God!
I do understand the sensitive nature of having a politically correct culture, but bro, I like me some. No. I got to meet him on the Indies a couple times. He seemed like a very good guy. So effing sumies for enjoying him. The thing that bothers me, and I think it's still one of those ones that I haven't really gotten in touch with, and I don't want to take this into a downer, but it's like, okay, what did Riddle do? Which I don't know. Please don't. If you want to hit me with it, or accused of doing. But 2, what was Enzo Amore accused of? And 3, probably the toughest one that I think, and Denovius, if you don't want to comment on this one, that's fine. I think the one that's most polarizing that is, I don't want to say frustrating, confusing. You don't know how to exactly feel. I mean, there's a lot of different feelings with it. When John Cena crowned Velveteen Dream the next, which he did, that one has got a sting for Vince, right?
Yeah.
Is Riddle's stuff as bad as?
No, not as bad as Dream, but it's the accusation is pretty vile, and I would really hope, and honestly, it was just a matter of him. I guess he was dating. First of all, he's married and he had a girlfriend, and he forced himself on. Well, not. They were on a bus or something. They were on a bus. Right. This is all alleged. They were on a bus, and he wanted some oral stuff had to go on, and he forced his girl to do it to him on the bus. is the accusation. I mean, again, if it's true, vile is vile. But I think the dream stuff is worse, quite frankly.
That's what it sounds like. But Denovi said it feels like that we might have been robbed of a. Okay, we didn't know what happened. It shows like, and I'm gonna kind of ask you a two-parter here. Do you think shows like Dark Side of the Ring help fill in some of the stories that we don't know? A Jimmy Snuka. Obviously, this upcoming year, there's a lot of controversial topics and tough ones to tackle. When you go through this, having kids, knowing, hey, I'm going to spend $29 on this T-shirt at this live event or this souvenir cup or whatever it may be, you know, is it difficult at all when the kids want to buy into certain superstars and it's like, man, I can't 100% say that this is going to work out. Is that weird for anybody? I don't know. I don't know if that's a weird question or not. Do you kind of get what I'm going after?
That's Brandy. That's how Brandy feels about
Riddle. Riddle. Right. I love Riddle because
she is another really good opponent for Punk.
Amy 24 or Amy RD _ 24. She's not a big bro. Samoa Joe, tear it down. Tear it the F down. Finn Balor, tear it the F down.
That's another one, yeah. Balor was on my list.
Gargano, tear it the F down. I mean,
no one will survive. You know
Ciampa,
what I'm talking? Yeah, Ciampa. Wow, I'm sorry, I couldn't.
You know what? I bet you Regal and Punk could even go one more time over in England.
Oh,
the things you could do, but I don't think he wants to work. But anyways, getting back to it,
I don't think he wants to work with Triple H. But
no, I don't think so either. Is it tough at all as a parent? You know, you got a budget. Yeah, it's not like you got money grows on trees. Is that ever tough for you as far as the, oh, hey, I'm going to buy him this shirt or I'm going to get him this. But at the same time, it's like, God, who knows the future? We don't have some crystal ball sitting in front of us where we could just like examine it. And I mean that mainly in the case of Velveteen Dream because the guy was over as I don't know if I've seen next to Keith Lee at a takeover. I don't know if I've seen anybody as over.
I was at Takeover 25 and he was on fire.
Is that tough as a parent ever? I mean, from the parent standpoint.
I see that. I don't know, man. To me, it's kind of just left up to them. I mean, and when you bring up something like that, first thing came to mind, I ain't gonna lie, was the whole R. Kelly situation, right?
Bingo.
The cancel culture. But if you think about it, it's like, how do you differentiate Robert from R. Kelly? You know, the music from the molester, rapist, dude. And see that. And I remember when we did Ask Conrad, I can't remember which one it was. I asked Conrad about, do you think Chris Benoit should be in the Hall of Fame? And he said, absolutely not. And he said, because, you know, I don't condone anything, you know, what he did as a wrestler, you know, yes, but as a person. And see, that's when I always differentiate. I'm able to separate the two. Now, whether that's good or bad, you know, I mean, that's comparing apples to oranges. What he did in the ring was just, you know, phenomenal. Now, what happened in real life was, you know, unbearable.
Yeah.
But, you know, when I heard Conrad said, no, I don't think so, because he said that, and his reason actually convinced me that, you know, I don't need to go any further with, you know, saying I think he should be. He said, if you put him in the Hall of Fame, who comes after him? Or do you have him last? And that was just like, you know, you think about that, the little subtle things you don't think about. He's able to pinpoint it and bring it into, you know, layman's terms. So you're like, dang, who would go after him? Like, nobody else is going to go after that point and be like, no, you know.
What about Woman? You know? Don't you think Woman should go?
Let me ask.
Yeah.
Let me ask this: are you nervous asking that question to Conrad? Are you have? And this goes to Frank, and I want to get to the woman, Frank. That is our bonus content. Marking it down.
Mhm.
We're gonna hit that at the 1:35 mark. Have either of you been nervous asking a question on a Zoom via AFS, and if so, why? Or if not, if you just feel comfortable, speak to that. And Frank, I'll start with you, and then we'll go to Denovius, because I do want to hear about him asking about the Chris Benoit question.
I'll tell you this. Brand.
Oh,
Yeah.
by the way,
Adam,
Adam Cole, Jesus
Cole.
and
Christ.
she's got Kyle
Yeah.
O'Reilly in there.
Oh,
I was
my
gonna say
God.
that. Yep.
So-
yeah. And Brandy, we're gonna hit on this in bonus content. I wanna talk about the Nancy side. So
for me,
have you been
Carl,
nervous?
the very first time I talked to Eric, because I thought he'd shit all over the fact that I was at the Monday Nitro where he came down from the ceiling on the bike, and I was just curious how they did that, and I was nervous about that. But I will tell you, and I was just nervous from a starstruck perspective. I was very nervous with my question to JR because I didn't think he was going to want to talk about Bell's palsy. And Denovius, to give you I'm not sure if you know this or not, but I actually had a case of Bell's palsy, so I wanted to understand from his point of view what I should do to not have another attack. So I was just very nervous that he was going to not want to talk about it, and it turned into a beautiful moment for me. And that's right. Now I, if I don't have anything to say, I don't ask a question. If I want to put someone over, like I did this past weekend with Eric and his wife, I'll do it. But I try to give other people a chance now too. But I'll let Denovius go.
Yeah, I still, even to this day, I mean, I asked him to lock and loaded with Eric last week, and I'm still like, I'm just starstruck because I mean, I think about it, that dude is just, I think John said it the best when we had Lock and Load at 4. I remember it because he cut like a nice promo and he's talking about and every time we bring up WWE stars who actually made it, like the big time, he's always points to the fact that he came from WCW. So he's like, I have to hear that. He puts Eric he puts him over every single time. I'm like, well, he did. Okay, WCW. So I still get like Star Trek with Eric. But when I was on with Tony, and I mean, Tony is just like, Tony Schiavone, that's just another one. But I wasn't even nervous with him. It was more like I was more comfortable with him. But Eric, I'm just like, But,
well, yeah, I mean, look at what he did. Like the height of the Monday Night Roars. I mean, that's Eric.
Yes.
That's Eric Bischoff. Like,
exactly.
Did you not do a countdown for Eric? I'm sorry for Tony.
I don't think
Have you
so.
done? No,
No.
you haven't. Okay.
No, sir.
Maybe right after this, we should probably do one. We're gonna jump into bonus content because what?
well, that's our show. Carl's dropping shit again. Lord,
I just want to comment on the cup of water, what it fell on. Okay.
Jesus Christ.
I'm gonna honestly show. I need to make a transition for this because I went through an entire show of not dropping anything, and then my Mandik came out of a box. Pretty much the worst 4 things that you could get water on.
Oh God.
TV remote.
No.
XPW. Baptizing blood.
The tape. Oh God.
Sorry, Jared. This one's at least wrapped in plastic. Best of best of death matches. I'll send this to Rocco. I'm sure he'll just watch us on loop. And first world problems, earbuds case.
Ooh.
with earbuds in them. So that is what fell. Actually, no, that was on the ground, and it is my fault for spilling water on there. And now to a more happier topic on this one. Nancy Benoit.
Oh my God!
Let me try that one more time. Bonus content.
Oh, God, no!
Yes, Kermit. All right, so Owen and Nancy, probably the two most debated HOFers. I don't know. I'm trying to think of another. I'm trying to make another list of those. That is King Kong Bundy in?
I don't think so.
It's going to be interesting.
I gotta check.
That one we are going to not.
Oh yeah, that whole thing. I remember you telling me about.
All right, Denovius.
Snuka is.
Snuka's. Oh, of course he is. King Kong Bundy, Denovius from. I don't know if you've ever heard the rumor and innuendo, but apparently, King Kong Bundy had a really good night of sleep. He just happened to roll over on the girl he was sleeping next to and killed her, and it was covered up by VKM. Allegedly. I'm going to say that again, allegedly. So, again, another Snuka story that... But Nancy and I would say that Owen... Now, Owen's obviously... an issue where it's not going to happen. It's just not, folks.
I need to say, after watching his Dark Side of the Ring, I understand her side of it now. Because for the longest time, I was like, pardon my French, that bitch, why won't she let her husband go in his rightful place? But after watching that episode of Dark Side of the Ring, you finally get to hear, and you even get to hear Oja's point of it. Would I, as a wrestling fan who loved Owen Hart and was devastated when he died, yeah, I'd love to see him in the Hall of Fame. I just think that at this point he needs to just let it go. And it was a tragic thing that happened 22 years ago, and let it to. And I will tell you guys, every single year, if you look at my Facebook and you go back to May 23rd, every year, I always put homage to Owen up. I do not forget it every year. I always remember the day that the rocket fell, and I've come to terms with the fact that he probably is not going to go in the Hall of Fame. That's my honest opinion with him.
All right, so Denovius, my question to you would then be this: it's a 3-parter bonus. How do you think Dark Side of the Ring has impacted us as fans, us as those that are seeking to find maybe some more history, maybe some more truth, though dark, obviously, and though maybe a little bit more dealing with, well, as you talked about earlier, life or death situations, circumstances, 2 being a woman, aka Nancy Benoit, and 3 being Owen for HOF. So I guess starting with the Dark Side of the Ring question, how have you taken it in, or have you taken it in?
I watched a couple of them. I think I look at it from a different aspect. I try to be as transparent with my students as possible, right? And so I think that what Dark Side of the Ring is doing, it's being transparent with wrestling fans. You know, like besides what we see on TV, we have to remember that they're also normal people. You know, and they got real problems, and sometimes it's easy just to forget about it. It's swept underneath the rug and like, hey, you're supposed to be feuding with this person or winning this match, but I mean, we don't know exactly what goes on, you know, in their minds, what kind of injuries they're facing, how many concussions they have, you know, like what their home life is like. I mean, it's just, you know, I lived next door to Iceman King Parsons, and when
Wow.
No way.
back in '95, '96. I was in sixth grade, and he lived like literally next door. I would go to his house every day. Him and my uncle, who passed away last year, used to interact with each other like all the time. And so, you know, seeing he would tell me some stuff, you know, some crazy stories about wrestling and stuff like that. That's when he was still training and things like that. And you know, it's just,
Dude, I had no idea Iceman's
where
King.
he lived at.
I had no idea he was from West Side Chicago. I've
No,
always
no.
taken
This is in Texas.
Okay. I was gonna say, I was like,
95,
man, I've
96,
always
yeah.
taken
No,
inventory
no.
on Chicagoans because I mean, like the Road Warriors build from Chicago, but obviously
Yeah.
CM Punk, Colt Cabana, a couple, but no, sorry, got me derailed there.
No, but it's, you know, and they're everyday people. I mean, Iceman had, you know, he had the same problems we had, and we forget that they do have those problems, and everything is not peaches and cream. So, Dark Side of the Ring has been definitely good. You definitely get the backstory to a lot of them, you know. And you know, as far as Nancy Benoit and Owen, you know, when I got into wrestling, I liked the technical side of it. You know, the grappling, the submissions. So I think anybody came from that Stu Hart dungeon was just amazing. You know, and I think Owen, you know, he held his own. You know, I think he belongs there. And you know, maybe Nancy Benoit, that's a sketchy situation behind what happened. You know what I mean? Will I be mad if she's there? No. Would I be mad if she's not there? No. So that's
Yeah.
And I'm going to say, Frank, initially, we would not have been friends because when I saw the Owen one, so getting back to men crying, yeah, we actually do. Over 35, it happens.
Yep.
I cried during Kobe, Chris Farley's death, and I cried at the end of The Last Dance, and I cried at the end of the Owen one.
I'm going to tell you right now, guys. I'm not afraid to admit it. I cried like a little girl when Steve McNair died.
Steve McNair.
The end of The Office. Yeah.
Michael going down to the air. Yeah.
I'll tell you this right now too. I'm the show. If you guys have heard of it, 13 Reasons Why, on Netflix.
Heard it's good.
It's very good, but very controversial. And the very last season came out mid-pandemic, and the last two episodes had me, I mean, crying like I had just lost a loved one. So
you know what?
I don't care what people think of me. I'm an emotional human being, and I cried when Owen died. I was very upset about that. I was very confused with the Benoits, but I will tell you, with Nancy, I don't think they should lump her in with what he did to her. I think they should look at her career, and give her some props because she was damn good at what she did. Now Benoit is a killer.
Yeah. That one's out. Yeah, that one's out. Owen. Here's where I initially took that documentary. It ends with the Owen Hart Foundation, and I say this: if the scuttlebutt is true. See, when you go and Donnie, you can attest this. At 32, how much Hall of Fame gear was at that store or at that shop? When do you go to Access at all?
Mm-hmm.
Do you have? It's everywhere. So Triple H made. I mean, there's always been these talks online that Triple H said 100% of the proceeds of any T-shirt sold, a certain percentage of Takeover, if we reference him, if Natty does something, then you get this percentage. SmackDown, you'd get this. Raw, you would get this. Initially, I took that as, okay, they ended the documentary on the Owen Hart Foundation, how it's helping other kids and it's helping future generations. To me, this is going to sound awful. So please just stay with me through the entire take. I felt Martha was selfish in the sense that that could help other kids. Put him in, get your because they didn't get that much. You know who got more? Hulk Hogan from Gawker, Aaron Andrews from whoever the creep was that flipped a peephole on her. In lawsuits, they didn't get a lot of money. So to me, not to gain, or even for Oj's future or anybody, I thought that it was holding back and saying, put him in as Mark Henry has requested, and many of the other boys have voiced in whether it's been publicly or on shoot interviews. Initially, I got emotional when I saw like the and forgive me if I'm using the term correctly or if I'm using it incorrectly, is that oh gosh,
the clip.
So it's the clip. Yeah, what is that?
I did too.
Yeah,
it's a clip. That's what she called it. A clip. It was a
carabiner.
Yeah, carabiner. Yes. Yeah. No, you're right. Carabiner. You're absolutely right.
And so like that's where I started to get. I'm like, when they showed that, I was like, and the pictures, really were like, oh man, this is. Now, with that, I showed it to my mom, and I said, what do you think? She's not a wrestling fan. Oh, by the way, slight plug. We are going to do My Mom is Rad live from spring training with the worst baseball injuries and
that's great.
moments ever and how my mom would diagnose them. That'll be coming up. It's the only moment of levity I can give you guys. I thought at first that Martha should let him in. As far as woman goes, yes. That's not even a question. That's not that I could just answer that one easy. I do enjoy this CM Punk Dream Talk. That really stirred up some. And again, it's a question if he can go. Now, let me throw this out there. It's our final, absolutely bigger impact. Denovius, I'm going to start with you. CM Punk and AJ Lee. They wrestle only the pay-per-views, but it's a 2-year deal with either company. And that means Punk or AJ could go to NXT, or it could be AEW, which would be make the bigger impact. Punk and Lee in AEW or WWE and why?
I feel like there's some good time in AEW. Although I think the system that NXT has is just, I would go there. I would say NXT, and it's just that look at AEW. I mean, they have a handful of artists, well, wrestlers in there that he can do the title with. They're getting more to like where WCW was back in those days. They recruit more older people. And I mean, like I said, Punk said it, like I said it earlier, Punk said it best. They need to focus on who they have instead of trying to sign more people. But as far as NXT goes, I mean, like Brandy said, Kyle O'Reilly, you got Adam Cole, I mean, you got Karrion Kross, I mean, Finn Balor. I mean, we can just keep going on and on. I mean, it's there. It's just, I would like to see him against the Britain guy, Pete Dunne.
Oh, Pete
Yeah.
Dunne.
Oh my
Oh,
God,
Jesus.
I love Pete Dunne.
So,
Woo!
and then AJ.
Yeah, I would say, and then AJ. I mean, you could see she could be a trainer. She could be. I mean, you could do a lot with her, right?
Right. Oh yeah. I mean, put her. Yeah, she low shower against Raquel Gonzalez. They decided to move her back up. I think that there's a lot of storytelling there. Dakota Kai.
That's exactly who I was going to say. Kiwi kick. I could see the shiniest wizard and that Kiwi kick in a long storyline. I love that one. Frank, what do you think? AEW, WWE. You get Lee, you get Punk, you get 2 years only pay-per-views and or takeovers, but they're still they're still contractually obligated to do mic work, appearances, house shows, stuff like that.
I'm gonna go.
Same deal,
wanna,
money wise.
I want to see. I'm going WWE side. I just can't decide. I feel like they probably would have better matches in NXT. I'm gonna kind of go with Denovius on that. I mean, when you throw Pete Dunne in there, I mean, you could. I mean, could you imagine him against Jordan Devlin? Could you imagine him against some of the NXT UK guys? I mean, Tyler Bray and him, or Seven, is that his name?
Trent Seven, yeah.
Trent Seven. I mean, geez, Pete, they could have some barn burners. And NXT typically showcases the wrestling, and I think that's what Punk wants.
And one of the most complex individuals, and an artist in his own right, but at the same time, what's the best thing he's done? He's given us the what if factor, and for us to discuss it, years. What are we looking at? 5 years now?
No.
6?
What, since he's left?
6?
It's 7.
Is it really?
2014.
2014, yeah.
Oh my
January
gosh,
2014.
Yep, right at the road.
If a wrestler can still make you play the what if game, excuse me, a performer, and you have 2 of them in the sense that you've got AJ and you've got Punk, you've done your job. You've not only done your job, you've left your not just carbon footprint, you've left a footprint that is going to be there for a long time, and almost, again, with a lot of fans, true in sports, true in wrestling, absence makes a heart grow fonder, and that pop, wherever it is, because I believe in it. I don't know if it's going to be a one-off. I don't know what it's going to be. But whatever that pop is, and whatever that music is, and whatever that venue is, that is what keeps us coming back. And it's also the reason that I'm going to go over and hang out with my little bro and watch Raw. Yes. 2 weeks in a row. No, 3 weeks. Buddy, is it 2 or 3? Let me ask him. He's good at numbers. 2 or 3 weeks. Stop sleeping. 3. Sorry, he doesn't have opposable thumbs. For Denovius, where can they find you? And can we please do this again? Can we have you back on, my friend? We need to have you back on.
Get John in here too.
Yeah, definitely.
Okay.
Anytime. They can find me on Twitter at Kanovi, KANOVIMACK. At Kanovi Mack, and then also on Discord. I'm on the Denovius Mack on AFS show.
I saw that.
Did I give out the wrong Twitter handle?
No, I know you had it right.
No, you had it
okay.
right. No, you had it right. And then
Frank,
on Facebook, Denovius.
Oh, no. Yeah. Where are you on Facebook?
Denovius Mack. It's Tony Denovius Mack. So let me see it on there.
I'm gonna add you as a friend.
Awesome.
Hit you up. Frank Bruno, besides the inside of any beautiful Brooks Brothers jacket where your name may be stitched, and besides Ellis Island, where else can they find you?
I'm pretty active on Twitter these days, so right there at FrankBruno80. I do have a Facebook. My father has the same name as me, so if if you do seek me out on Facebook, just beware you might get my 60-some-odd-year-old father. So make sure it's me. You'll see a lot of Tennessee Titans stuff, but I'm receptive on Facebook as well. But I will say that I'm fairly active, more on Twitter to interact with my fellow AFSers. So that's pretty much best for me.
Awesome.
And just to close out the show, I want to end on a sentimental note.
We interrupt this program to bring you a special report.
Buddy, you got to stop. He's got to stop with the free agency. Ryan Fitzmagic headed to the Washington football team.
Yowza.
What did I tell you? What did I tell you, Frank?
I know.
Who's gonna end up with Russell Wilson or Deshaun Watson?
As long
Miami,
as Watson
Miami
is
and
not in
Houston.
Texas, as long as Miami,
It's
get
Miami,
him out of our
Houston,
division.
or New Orleans. It's one of the three, according to. And yes, folks, what I teased to earlier, the Packers will be signing T.Y. Hilton within the next 24 to 48 hours since they worked out the Aaron.
Get him out of it. Get him out of there too.
So Devontae Adams, T.Y. Hilton. I'll take frickin' Bruno on my team all day. Coach Mack leading us. I'll just be a fan in the stands, or I could play tight end. I run out. Whatever. Yeah, you guys need me as a backup. F it. I'll be a special teams. I'll be a gunner. We're going to leave on this one. We're going to leave with, I just showed this to my little brother last night, and this gentleman has been kind enough to reach out to us and say, as a WWE employee, yeah, go ahead. Use my stuff. Just don't play too long so you don't get in trouble. Josiah Williams, I highly recommend that you guys check him out. For myself, for Frank Bruno, and obviously, I can't say enough. I thank you for how transparent, as you put it earlier, how your testimony is beautiful. I don't mind saying that to another guy, but thank you for not just this time, but for our ongoing friendship. And I know with Frank, I'm very humbled and honored to have you on.
Absolutely.
Oh man, I appreciate you guys, man. Let me get up here and jaw jack with you guys, and definitely, man, you guys are awesome. So anytime you want me back, I'm here, man.
Absolutely.
Definitely praying for you guys, and I thank you again.
Thank you.
That means the world. That means everything. We're going to leave you with a little Josiah Williams. We'll be back tomorrow for a little rewind wrestling time with myself and Rocco DeRose. Frank, you're invited. Yeah, you're kind of invited. No, you're invited back on Wednesday. No, I love you. To all those that commented, thank you so much. And remember, Wolves are social. They need their pack, and we need you guys to keep coming on back. This has been my ChatPack Live, and enjoy a little Josiah Williams from WrestleFlow.
Look, I just flipped the switch. Trying to show these superstars some common sense. Take out any doubters if they might exist. I WGP champion, I am quite equipped. I exist only to watch you expire slowly. Come toe to toe with the homies, the Bullet Club, they the Brodies. They thought the group had imploded. Take this next line and quote it. We the ones that's devoted. The Bullet Club just reloaded. Yeah, I fly and I soar, but I aspire for more. Took some time so I can show you how this lion can roar. Sound the sirens, let them know I'm standing right at the door. I'm defiant, cause I know that I'm a giant at core. Yeah, I'm that boy. Better take cover, put you way under. Yeah, that happens once I hit you with that Blade Runner. All y'all late comers, gon' find out I'm number one. Yeah, I'm that great number. Yeah. We the ones that got the block hot, Bullet Club the shot. I don't see a hero, I see fear in your face. You know I'm the guy that come and put careers in the case. Yeah, Jay White is on a roll and I'm controlling the place. You can't fly, I took a knife and sliced the